Hey everybody, first PSA Reveal in almost 2 years. I did one about 2 years ago, May of 2021, and haven't done one since because things just got crazy with the hobby world, and it just kind of pushed me away from the hobby. And being a collector like I am, I'm not really one to flip and resell and try to make that almighty dollar just for a hustle. I do sell some cards on eBay just to help pay for grading fees and whatnot. And now here we are 2 years later, and I've decided to submit an order because things have calmed down, and I've got a lot of PC cards I want to get graded, and I just got this fresh batch in. I went ahead and unboxed it just to save time. It took me 5 minutes to unbox everything, and it's a 55 card order. 51 were graded. This is the bulk submission, 1980 to present. Most of these cards are 80s cards, lots of Tiffany's. Again, most of it, 75% of what you're going to see here is PC, and it took only 5 weeks. The order I did 2 years ago took 8 months. I've even heard of horror stories out there of people having to wait 15 months for the cards. I think even one guy mentioned 18 months. But here we go. Let's start it off. Been a long time coming. I want to start right here. We have a 1994 Finest Eric Davis refractor, and there's going to be a lot of Eric Davises in here. He's my favorite player, as you probably noticed from the last video I did. And there's actually going to be some good follow-up from that previous video of 2 years ago. So if you haven't checked out that first video, check out that first video. That'll kind of lead into what we got going here. So here we are, Finest Refractor Eric Davis 1994. This is my only copy. I pre-graded this as an 8, and it got an 8. I'm actually satisfied with that. This is a tough card to grade. These refractors are very condition sensitive. So PC card, nice. Bam. Yep, moving on. I'm going to try to make this fairly speedy. Here's a card right here, not a PC card. It's just one I had laying around. It looked good. I pre-graded this at a 9, came back at an 8. This is the Barry Bonds 87 Donruss. Everybody knows this card. Cool card. Thought it was a 9, but it came back at 8. Ken Griffey Jr., 1989 Donruss, Baseball's Best. This is a condition-sensitive card with the way it's packed. Came back at 8. I had it at a 9. Whoever graded these cards for me was really strict because my pre-grading that I go through, I use magnification. I use a few different sources of light. I'm very strict myself. I don't just send in junk. With the exception, there are some 6s and 7s that I pre-grade that I just want to send through because they are PC cards. But here we are. We got an 8. Cool card. This card is tough. The back is actually centered fairly well. Thought this was going to be a 9. Came back at 8. Next one up, Fred McGriff, 1987 Blue Jays Fire Safety. Pre-graded this guy at a 9. It's in there just a little bit crooked. Came back at 8. Cool card. I like Fred McGriff. He's one of my favorite players. Yep. Speaking of graders being strict, my gem rate on this order was 6%. I actually knew it was going to be low coming into this because the 80s cards are tough. A lot of them I had graded at 9. I was expecting about a 25% gem rate. I got killed. I got slaughtered on the Tiffany's. And we'll get to that here in just a second. But here's a good one. Gem at 10. Ken Griffey Jr. Score traded. Really nice. I actually pre-graded this at a 9+. Came back a 10. My pre-grades, when I say 9+, that means it's a very strong 9 with a chance of a 10. There are a few of them in here I had graded at pristine. We'll see how those go. Here's some hand cut cards. We got several hand cut cards coming up. 1990 baseball card, boom, near mint 8. Now, I hand cut these myself, and this was one of the first ones I hand cut. I wish I'd have learned more about what PSA looks for. I left just a little bit of a border. I should have left a little. PSA wants a little bit more border than this. Yeah, I mean, I cut it really sharp, but I just didn't expose enough border. This card is sharp. I had it at a 9. Actually, no, I apologize. This one I had at a 8 because I knew after I cut it, I was like, man, that I just didn't quite leave enough gap there on the cut. If I'd have cut it better, I think it could have got a 9. Came back at an 8. This is a cool card, PC card. These are tough. On the same print sheet, I cut off this Conseco. I actually cut it right on the line, and that is a no-no for PSA. They just labeled this as authentic. 1990 baseball card boom, Jose Canseco. PSA, again, they do not want you to cut it on the line when it comes to a hand-cut card like this. They want that border to be exposed, that little black ring that goes around this entire card. So that was my mistake. I had this at a 9, but PSA, their standards are, you know, you live and learn. So it was a learning process on that one. Cool card, though. Here's my favorite, one of my favorite hand-cut cards. Again, I didn't leave a border. However, they did grade it. I knew this was going to grade low. I pre-graded this at a 6. It came back at a 5, and the reason for that is right up here. You can't see it, but there's a little bit of a ripple. And from what I hear, if there's a ripple on a card, I think it's an automatic 5. I had it at a 6. But this is a PC card. This is a very, very tough card. This is Dwight Gooden's, or Doc. I call him Doc. One of my favorite pitchers from back in the day until he got himself, you know, mixed up with the wrong crowd. Him and Darryl Strawberry. Tough card, man. Love this card. This is rookie card, and it's a box bottom. I love these box bottom, man. I just love the thrill of cutting it, you know, taking your time with it, and, you know, send it off, and you get it slab, man. So this is a PC card. Cool card. Moving on with some more hand-cut cards. PSA 8, 1987 BB Cards Magazine, McGuire Davis. I had this at a 9. You see where I left more border on it. Once I learned about the border, I'm doing better. I'm doing better. This came back at an 8, pre-graded at a 9. Once again, the grader, I feel, he was really tight on me. So, yeah. This right here, I had at a 9+. Came back at an 8. Tim Raines off the same printing sheet. The McGuire Davis we just looked at. Came back at an 8. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, 8. Left more border. Sharp, man. I didn't see any flaws in this card whatsoever. I think it's very rare PSA is going to hand out a 10 on any hand-cut card. Any hand-cut card. Very rare. If you get a 9 on a hand-cut card, that's basically gem mint, in my opinion. So, that's how these hand-cut cards are. Alright, that's it with the hand-cut cards. Eric Davis. I like this card. This is his, I call this his World Series card. World Series, 1990, Eric Davis. I knew this was going to be a 9. I really thought it was. Came back at 8. 1991 Cons Reds, Eric Davis. Good card, man. This is a PC card for me. Don't see many of them, but they are around. Bazooka, 1988. Thought this had a good chance at a 10. I had it graded at a 9+. Came back at a 9. Bazooka, Eric Davis. Cool card. Not necessarily a PC card, but I just wanted to get it graded. So, all right, moving on. I think from here on out, it's all 80s. 1987 OPC Conseco. I had this at a 9+. Thought this had a really good shot at a 10. Tough card. OPC. Really sharp, man. This card. This is a really sharp card. Really thought I had a chance at a 10. Sorry about the glare. I'm trying to. Anyway, yeah. Jose Canseco. 9. 9. Can you see that? Hope you can see that. Yep. Eric Davis. Had this pre-graded at a 9. Came back at an 8. OPG. It's off-center just a little bit, top to bottom, left to right's perfect. This is a PC card, very tough card. Really hoping to get this in a 9, but yeah, I got, you want your cards to be graded strictly, but you want consistency too. And I've got another order that's actually, I sent with this one together in the same box. It's a 26 card ultra modern order. And it came back way better than I expected. 60% gem rate. I had it at about a 40% gem rate. It's just the consistency with PSA. I know it's tough to find good help, and I don't want to sit here and badmouth them. I mean, I don't care, SGC, they might be more consistent, but nobody's going to be perfect. I mean, heck, I'm not even perfect. I'm sitting here saying my pre-grades are, I'm acting like they're concrete, but they're not. So, it can go either way. So, came back at 8. Cool card, PC card. OPC again. Kirby Puckett. Came back at an 8. I had this at a 9. Center nicely, man. This is a great card. Great card. And actually, that Eric Davis we were just looking at, that's his first OPC issued card. They did not make an Eric Davis in the 85 or 86 Topps or OPC. So, another reason why that was a PC card. Dwight Gooden, OPC 87, near mint 8. I actually had this graded at an 8.5. There was a few flaws I saw on this one. So, it got graded close. Came back at an 8. 1986 Donruss, Jose Canseco, mint 9. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be, a 9. Just slightly off center, top to bottom, left to right, probably 55-45. Yep. Mint 9. Let's see if I can do something about this light, y'all. Hang on. Man, that might make too much of a glare right there. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, moving on. I think from here on out it's mostly Tiffany's. Darryl Strawberry. I sent in 3 of these. I had one of them at a pristine 10, one at a 9+, and one... No, I had 2 at 9+, and one at a pristine 10. All 3 came back 9. Great copy right here. Man. Man, oh man. Man. These Tiffany's are really tough to grade. Surface will show everything in light because of the glossy sheen on it. Any little scratch, chipping, pitting, they're known to show up on Tiffany's. Tiffany's are really hard to grade, and that's what I look for in my pre-grading. And I looked over these thoroughly, and oh, man. Yeah, I think that lighting's a little bit better. Yeah. Man, I tell you, I had these sitting around. I've had these in my possession for a long time, and I knew they were sharp. And a mint 9 is nothing to frown upon, but, there we go. 3 9s. Really hoping to get at least 110 in that. Here's one I had labeled as pristine. Came back mint 9. Common theme. This one was ultra sharp. No chipping, no pitting, no scratches. Ultra sharp corners. No edge wear whatsoever. I mean sharp. Surface, centering, perfect. As far as I'm concerned, this is a 10. But we got a mint 9. John Franco. I knew this wasn't going to grade a 9. I had this at 8.5. It's a little bit off center, and there was an issue on the surface of this one. Very minor issue at the very top right around that S. You can't see it in this here because of the glare and everything, but yeah, 8.5. Dwight Gooden had this at a 9. Came back at an 8. A little bit off center. This car was immaculate other than the centering. Left to right's almost dead on. Top to bottom is it is off. Yeah. It's probably 70-30 top to bottom. So we got an 8. That's probably about right. Okay, man, this was a disappointment. I had 3 of these I sent in. I had 2 at a 9 plus and 1 at a No. I had 1 at a pristine, 1 at a 9 plus, and the other at a 9. This one came back at 8. Yeah, it is what it is. Here's my next copy. Here's the pristine one I thought. Came back a 9. I've got many copies of this card. And I've got a few graded already. And man, and some ungraded. This is my best copy. My best out of all of them. Came back a 9. Man. You know, I'm not really one to crack and resubmit. However, I did crack and resubmit some of these cards. I only crack them if I know without a shadow of a doubt something's dead wrong. Here's a good example right here. I will be cracking this one. Came back at a 6. I had this one at a 9. Or heck, it could have been a 9.5 I had. It's just slightly off center left to right. Yeah, I had this one. This is the one I had at a 9. I remember the center and left to right was being a little off. Top to bottom slightly. Am I going to crack it and resubmit it? I don't know. I say I am, but it's definitely better than a 6, I tell you that. Here we go. More Tiffany's. 1989 Topps Tiffany Eric Davis. Came back at a 9. I had this at a 9 plus. 9 plus. Man, this card's sharp. Man, he was tough on me with these Tiffany's, man. Here's another example. I had this at a 9 plus. It looked just as good as the other one. They both looked identical when I was looking at it under magnification and under different lights. Came back a 5. What the heck? Well, hey, it is what it is. Let me get these out of the way here. All right, moving on. I sent in 5 of these right here. 1987 Topps Tiffany Eric Davis. I had 2 of these at a 10. 1 at a 9 plus. No, I had 3 at a 9 and I had 2 at a 10. Came back a 9. Looking at this one, it was a 9. I pre-graded. Yeah, it's off center left to right. Here's one I had at a 10. This mug is dead on centered, immaculate. There was nothing wrong with this card. Complete perfection. I've got an SGC 10. This matched up to it easy. I've seen many of these Tiffany's here, Eric Davis, and this is my best copy other than my SGC 10. I thought for sure I'd at least get 110. I was hoping for 2. At least 1. And man, all 9s. Once again, 9, common theme with the Tiffany's. This one I had at a... I had this one at a 9. Slightly off center. Here's another one. Had this one at a 9. Slightly off center. Yeah. And this one right here... Actually, I had this one a 9 too. Okay, it was only 1 I had a pristine. Yeah. So I sent 4 of these. I actually had a couple of these at a 9 plus and 1 at the 10. Okay, yeah. Yep, 9. Mint 9, mint 9, mint 9, mint 9. Alright, moving on. Aha. Eric Davis, rookie, 1985 Topps Eric Davis. Great copy, completely centered. These 85 Eric Davises are very tough to find centered. They're on the far right side of the print sheet. Very tough. Very, very, very tough. This card had a slight issue in the corner. I actually graded this at a 9. It came back at a 9. So I've got a 10, but I just wanted to get this slab just because it was so dead on, perfectly centered. Presents nice in the case. Great card. Let's see here. Here we go. Here's one I really, really am proud of. Near Mint 8, 1988 Topps box panels, Eric Davis hand cut. I hand cut it myself. I didn't leave a border. I did not leave a border. It didn't have a little black border around it. It had like a little white border around it from the back of the box. I just cut it dead on, man, and I got an 8, man. I got. You know, I pre-graded this at an 8. I was really hoping for an 8. And I thought to myself, you know, this could easily come back at a 7. Not a chance for 9. These hand-cut cards, once again, if you get a 9, that is like gem mint in a hand-cut card. That's rare. Literally, that's pristine. Man, really excited about this card. Finally got this thing in a slab. It's a great copy. It's real clean. Real clean. Darryl Strawberry. Here's one that I had cracked out of an old SGC case I've had in my possession for a long time. It was a SGC 8.5, and I thought it had a chance of a 9, but I figured, heck, if I can at least get an 8 in a PSA slab, I'll be happy. And it came back at 8. It's nicely centered. It's one of the more centered copies that I've seen. There are no 10s. Actually, maybe one. There's a few 9s, not many 9s either. Problem with this card is the centering, and every one of these cards have this defect in it right here. Great card. It's a PC card. Yep. Overall, I'm happy with it. All right, we got Nova cards. Darryl Strawberry, 1988-89 Star Nova Edition, mint 9. That's exactly what I thought was going to grade. This is a promo card. They only made 100 of these. This is Star's promo card of Darryl Strawberry. This is a PC card. Very tough find. Here's another one. Came back at a 9. Again, only made 100. I've actually got a 10. There's only one 10 in existence, and I own it. It's in an old case. I may get it reslabbed. But yeah, that's a cool card. Sorry about the glare. Dwight Gooden, mint 9. That's exactly what I pre-graded this at. Actually, I pre-graded at an 8.5. Came back at a 9. 1984 Fleer update. Cool card. PC card for me. I like Doc Gooden. Just hate him and Strawberry got caught up with the wrong crowd, man. Man, what would have been? Yep. All right, bunch of 1985 Donruses. I actually pre-graded all of these at a 9. That's what they came back at. Donruss, Darryl Strawberry, 9. Nice card. Eric Davis rookie card. Came back at a 9. Yep, that's exactly what I pre-graded it at. That's what they both came in at. Here's a PC card. I like this Tony Gwynn card. It's actually got him presenting, saying, hey, I'm about to bunt on you. Even though I'm a heck of a base hitter, I can bunt too. PSA 9, Donruss. About to say Darryl Strawberry. Roger Clemens, PSA 9, mint, 1985 Donruss. Rookie card. Nice card. I actually had this at a 9+. Alright, moving on. I pre-graded this one at an 8, and it got an 8. 1982 TCMA Eric Davis Cedar Rapids Reds. His first issued card. I think this was single A. Yeah, this was single A, Cedar Rapids. Came back at an 8. I own a 9. I actually pre-graded this at an 8.5, hoping for a 9. No big deal. Yep. I'll probably put this up for sale on eBay. Here we go. Tom Browning, 1984 Rocks Wichita Arrows. Tom Browning came back at a 9. Cool card. I actually have this in a 10. I'll probably put this guy up for sale. John Franco, same set, 1984. Came back at an 8. I pre-graded this at a 9. That's what it came back at. And actually the Tom Browning, I had that at a 9+. Alright, here we go. Here's some really good stuff right here. Check this out. If you look at my first video, you'll see where I was disappointed about this right here. 1984 Rocks Eric Davis Wichita Arrows. Minimal size requirement. They would not grade it. And I know why they didn't. Whoever was looking at these cards, they were not experienced with this set. The cards that come in this set are cut very thin. That's how they make them. So that's probably why they got nervous, sent it back to me, and I was really disappointed because I had both of these cards. I had one at a 9+ and one at a pristine. So I sent it back in on this bulk order, and guess what? Guess what, guys? Gem Mint 10. This is very tough. This is my rarest. This is probably one of the rarest cards of Eric Davis. You don't see many of these around, especially in Gem Mint 10. And not only did I get 110, I actually got 2. And this is coming from someone who graded my cards with a 6% gem rate. And I was expecting about a 25% gem rate. So I got rewarded on these 2 cards. Man, I'm very excited about this. I'm glad I resubmitted them. Glad I resubmitted them. And they accepted it. So whoever graded, you know, they were strict on me, but they recognized that this set for what it is. So, man, you know what? That's worthy of putting him up beside the Cincinnati Reds logo. Both of them. Bam. All right, here's a disappointment. Man, not huge disappointment, but at 1985 Topps Tiffany Eric Davis Mint 9. This is the best centered Tiffany Eric Davis. One of the best center that I've seen. It's you know, the only issue with it, I graded this at a 9+ in my pre-grade. The only issue is the very bottom, and it is very faint. It's a factory cut across the whole bottom. It doesn't look horrendous. I've seen many 10s in a 1985 Tiffany set with the factory edge cut that look way worse than this. And they're slabbed in 10s. And this card is flawless except for that. But, you know, it's a factory cut. This will be a PC card. I really want one of these in a 10. I've got another 9. But, man, oh man. How close was I to a 10? I don't know. I don't know. Yep. Actually, I take that back. This is not the one I was hoping for 10. I actually pre-graded this at a 9. This was actually a crack. I am so sorry. The one I was talking about is right here, and I'll show you here in just a second. This came out of a SGC 8.5, and other than the centering being slightly off, this card was sharp. I knew it would get a 9, and it got a 9. So I got rewarded there. Yeah, sorry about the mix-up, y'all. I got excited about this one. This is what I really want to talk about. This came in at a 9, and this Tiffany is 1,000% dead centered. 1,000% dead centered. White borders, nice crisp, no flaws whatsoever, except for that very faint factory cut all along the whole edge. And when you put the magnifying glass to it, it's very consistent all the way across. It's not a damage. It was like that from the factory. And, man, I had this at a 9+. Came back at a 9, but yeah, sometimes that happens. All right, I got one last card here. And I am not happy about it for several reasons. This is a 1985 Reds Yearbook perforated card. I tore the perforation off myself. I did a damn good job with it too. Came back at a 6. I had this pre-graded at a 9+. I'm pretty up on these cards. I've sent 2 of these in on my last order, and both of them came back at a 9, and I had both of them graded at a 9. So I know what I'm looking for, and I know what I'm doing on these cards. And what makes it worse, matter of fact, here's the one I sent in last year. It came in at a 9. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. It came in at a 9. And if you look carefully, I tore off the perforation. I left a little bit of residue right there from the perforation. It wasn't a complete 100% great tear. But needless to say, it presented well, and I knew it was going to come back at a 9. It came back at a 9. This guy right here, the tear is much more clean. The surface, everything about this card is just as good as this one. But the tear is a lot cleaner on this card right here. And it's centered better than this card. Left to right on this one's a little bit off. This one's dead centered. I knew it was going to be a 9+, minimal 9, really hoping for a 10. There's no 10s of these in existence. And what makes it even worse, they put this damn thing in a briefcase. Why? when I look at the size of this card, I actually matched it up. It's the exact same size. They figured out how to do it here 2 years ago, but this year they want to throw it in a big ass whatever, you know what. So this is a definite crack the heck out of here and resubmit. Am I going to resubmit to PSA? Probably not. Probably not. I'm not going to give them no more money. I mean, I'm not completely disturbed with what they do, but the consistency is just not there. You know, I'm going to give SGC a shot here shortly. You know, so, but anyway, like I say, man, take a look at the first video I sent, and stay tuned. There's going to be a second video, the second part of this order, for the 1996 to present Ultra Modern. And again, that order, I was ecstatic. I pre-graded at a 40% gem rate. You know, this card's a little newer, so I knew they're in a little bit better shape, and they were sharp. And I got rewarded. It came back a 60% gem rate. So it all depends on who's grading, you know, what kind of mood they're in, I guess. Everybody's human. I'm human. I make mistakes. It's just the luck of the draw, you know, I guess. So I'm not going to crack all these cards out that I'm disappointed in. There's a few of them I will. But like I say, I feel like it needs to be clear cut for me to crack a card out and resend it somewhere or whatever. But yeah, so stay tuned. And take a look at that first video. Thanks again.